Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Yes. Well, I'm Tag, holistic practitioner, and everything about me will be in the description below.
Yeah.
And so here we go. Yeah.
And I'm Tracy Constantine.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull a card. Have you had any dreams? Or is that kind of.
I have, but this dream I have to take offline.
It has to do with sex, people. Oh, that's fine. I love that. I love when we keep things to ourselves sacred. It's a beautiful thing. That's okay. We can do that. We always have a choice. So our card today is. Didn't I already pick forage? Forage? That came up again. Can we get a new card, guys?
A message in it. So.
Well, here's an interesting thing. I won't pick another one. We'll just stick with that. But so you had pulled cards for us on the last one. Okay. I'm going to pull a different card. You had pulled cards for us on the last one, and one of the messages that you gave me was about getting to bed on time.
Yes.
Right?
I remember, yeah.
And because I remember going, like, I go to bed at like 8. Like, what the hell is this card talking about, right? And then I came into some new energy where it was like, it was definitely a compulsive energy, but in a good way. It was some type of purging I needed to get rid of, and then my body naturally like kicked into overdrive and said like, you're good. We're just going to get this done because there's a window of opportunity and you don't want to miss that. Bam, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to say, since that card, I literally have been like, Tracy, you need to get rest. So please just lay down and go to bed. And so that card was definitely a message that I needed pre what I went through after the card, right? And so that it's very interesting because I think I've had this in quite a bit of interactions, whether it's in healings or even just interactions in the world, where somebody says, or I think, or they think something, and we're like, no, that don't make any sense. No, I don't think so, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I remember that card, and it struck me in a different way. So,
okay.
I do have an alarm set on my phone to start winding down at a certain time. And because I'm one, once I get something new going, a new project or I try to close it down and go to bed the same day I woke up in. That's always been a struggle for me. And since pulling that card, the last 2 days, I've actually had to take a nap. Spirit just let me look. You need a nap. You need a time out here. And I've ended up staying up really late, later than my alarm. So yeah, bedtime is rest. You don't have to go to sleep to get rest, but you need to rest and wind down. So that was my takeaway from it.
Yeah. I love because you definitely have a ritual process ceremony for a lot of things in your life. And it's good for me to be in that energy of somebody who has that, because I'm realizing that I need some safeguards, and the world has provided us with all of these alarms and all these different safeguards to help us check in and, whatever we need. And so I have now, Alexa does a daily like check-in moment or whatever.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and it is. It's like it's fun. It's funny this morning. I'm doing like kitchen disco because I do kitchen disco like every time I'm in the kitchen.
Yesterday I had salsa going.
I love salsa. Hey, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? I don't care. Right? And I hear Alexa in the other room, and she's like, "You're getting sleepy." Close your eyes. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go lay down, right? And it was good for me. Like I still had the music going, but when I laid down, I realized that I had been going since I woke up. I'm not in a 40-day Kundalini chant right now, which definitely helps me, tune into spirit, but which I do want to start another one at some point. I don't know if people know what Kundalini is, but it's it can actually be, I think, a bunch of different things. You can have Kundalini yoga, Kundalini breath, Kundalini this, that, the other thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Kundalini is the snake essence that's curled up in the bottom of the spine, which ultimately when it awakens and climbs up the spine, it means that you awaken, and you awaken like, your nervous system, your DNA, and you turn on some healing and whatever that you need to, so that you can ultimately, the snake can come all the way up and then create a Ouroboros, or where, like a circuit connection, which opens the 1,000-petal lotus in your crown chakra, and then it connects to the divine, and you're so happy. And then you turn into a light body. I don't know. But yeah, for me, what Kundalini is it's a chant. It's a mantra of something. So it can be a mantra in English, it can be a mantra in Indian language, it can be a mantra in any type of language. But the ones that I tend to choose are ones that have Sanskrit in them, because the specific sound actually creates something in the universe. And I do that 4 to 11 minutes every day for 40 days. And it's and it does. I have experienced it. It kind of opens channels, transforms things.
Yeah. Yes, there's such a negative stigma when it comes to snakes, but in the natural world, everything has a purpose. The snake represents vibration. It moves through vibration. That's its senses. And when that snake is coiled up at the bottom of the spine, it's not going to lay dormant there. It can either be productive or destructive. And so you want to give it a purpose. And I've explained this to people in the past that are like, oh, snakes, breaking out the cross and everything like that. And I'm like, it's not like that. And so I went into a deep dive with this person about that. When it's time for that snake to rise, eat, because it also needs to survive, and you don't give it a purpose, it can also destroy. And so, what you vibe with, or what you resonate with, or what you align with also contributes to the health of that Kundalini. And so when you don't sit there and give it a purpose, it can grow in the opposite direction, where your attachments and what you vibrate towards is sex and things of the flesh,
Oh, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And I was just talking to somebody about an overactive sex drive, because I had an active sex drive my whole entire life. Up until the last year or so,
which
where
is nature. That's human nature, by the way.
it is, but the thing that I noticed, because I came into the energy where I leaned in more to kind of see like what that is all about, and it did have some attachment. It had some wounds attached to it, where it was, I guess you can take anything that's a medicine and turn it into a poison.
Yeah.
And for me, I had to look at where I was taking the medicine and turning it into a poison. Like, what did that look like for me? And I needed to. I love to bring this up in a party. BDSM. I love bringing that shit up because nobody ever fucking talks about it, and I don't think that
BBSM.
BDSM, yeah, bondage, dominance, submission,
Okay.
masochism, or some shit like that. And right, and so I leaned into that community because I wanted to see why I was attracted to things that were not accepted in society, like that are in our shadow. That is, torture and dominance and submission, and kind of what that relationship is. Because what I feel like is that I was entering into all this shit without the knowledge of what it was, and ultimately I was becoming easily usable I was signing contracts and agreements that I had no idea I was signing, and so I needed to learn a little bit more about this so that I could figure out where I want to say yes and where I want to say no.
Right.
Or maybe. And I think that is the foundational principle behind this BDSM and this, I would even just call it the sexual shadow, right, world, where it is very important to bring some light in and figure out what the dialogue is and what my subconscious dialogue is, what my conscious dialogue is, so that I could try and align that within myself, so I can present myself in the world in these type of situations. And I'm telling you, the BDSM world, it's in our face. It is real, and it's live, and it's not only in like somewhere where there's a red light at the doorstep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Prime example of a misaligned Kundalini. When you're not in agreement with that, you feel it in your body. You're attracted to certain things that maybe you do want to be attracted to or you don't want to be attracted to. That's up to the person. You have free will. It's not negative, it's not positive, it's just what is. And so when you channel into that Kundalini and you rise it up, it activates other chakra systems that brings you to a holistic alignment of peace, love, joy, patience, voice, thought. And, there's, I don't know if you noticed, but like there's certain times of the month where you feel like you're on it. Decisions are good. You see productivity, you see growth, you see movements, and then you have another part of the month where it just seems like, what the heck happened? Just say WTF? You're just like, what the heck? You know what I mean? And so, if you're not aware, if a person is not aware of what their internal power is, it is hard to be self-controlled and not projecting your fear, your control, and whatever else.
I love that you brought in the cycles. I love you brought in the cycle of the moon, the natural cycles of the moon and the sun. Really, it's both. And apply that to the growth of this Kundalini energy, the sexual energy. We are sexual beings. We are also spiritual beings.
Yep.
And something I heard in my journey was that sexuality and spirituality are actually beings.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they could be the angel or the devil, depending on, I think, kind of what I'm understanding. And this goes to the story where in the beginning was the word, right? Word equals knowledge. And so if you're not trying to gather the knowledge of why your behavior is the way it is and why you're calling in what you're calling in and why you are projecting and why your external world appears the way it does, then you're leaving it up to the actual energy to decide on its own. Like,
Yes.
you don't have
Yes.
a choice anymore. You don't. Like,
Yes.
and they do say that when you're like, when I was an alcoholic and a drug addict, I did not have a choice because I wasn't conscious enough to have a choice.
Right.
That
Yep.
makes-
Yes. Yes. And, before there was the word, there was the earth, all the elements in the earth.
yeah, I love that.
And the sun and moon, like you said, consciousness, sun, moon, womb. When there is a time when the sun and moon is parallel,
Okay, yeah, I love that. Yeah.
and it's horizontal, baby.
Yeah, I love that you say that because it's true. Like what you think, and this is very interesting. It brings me to, I would always talk about the sleeping bird on the wire. Like I want to be the sleeping bird on the wire, but the sleeping bird on the wire, that takes a lifetime to be able to balance sleeping on a wire. And when the sun and the moon are level like that, or when that energy, those energies are in balance in our body, it does take non-effort to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Muscle memory.
And that's fucking hard to practice to get to a place where it's a natural response.
Right. Yeah. Muscle memory. You have it in, we spoke about this before, water is fluid. Body is made up of water all the way to the bones. And when your movement, like the bird on the wire example, when it's second nature, the body remembers. You don't have to rely on thought process. You don't have to rely on nothing else, and you can trust the process. You can trust the process within you, not the wire, but within you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that. Trust, that came to my mind. Okay, yep.
Yeah. But when we hold on to, all the ick, there's no balance. There's no way you can sit on that wire. And every day it seems like we can be, especially in the lifestyle of institutions where you're following somebody else's rules and regulations and stuff. You always feel like you're walking on a thin wire.
Yeah, I like to look at that type of stuff, right? I worked in a rehab setting for 3 years, and I like to look at, and I was in the recovery community for almost 9 years. No, it was 9 years. I don't even know anymore, but it was a long time. And I feel like everything is a means to an end, right? And so it is not the end.
Right.
Where a lot of people feel, and I think even me, before I went through experiences to teach me, like, no, I'm not gonna accept that this is what it is.
Right.
It is a component of what I need to go through to find out what it is for me, but it is not what it is.
Yes. And that's what makes you a strong person, a strong individual. It and you embody that essence, So everything else you come across, it's like, no. Your no's mean no's, your yes means yes. Your in sync with yourself, you know, other people might.
There's a saying, and I don't know where it came from. I want to say it was a Japanese proverb, but I don't know. But it said, "You don't know who you are until you know who you're not."
Right. Hello. Hello. You know, and anytime you submit to what you're not, it's coming out of your skin.
Yeah.
It reflects in your appearance. You know, it's just one domino effect after another. Just one. And so, I mean, look at you, radiant.
Yeah, it feels good.
Secure.
Yeah, it feels good. It does. It feels real freaking good.
Yes, yes. It's not about the aesthetics, you know, the lashes, the war paint.
It isn't. No, it's not. It's about the light within.
Yeah.
And the connection to your own divine self, whatever that may be.
Right, right. So you can't compete where you don't compare. And if you're not whole inside, yeah.
And you know, this is a great segue. It brings me to what we're doing because, and we talk a lot about this too, developing these faith-based organizations, these private membership associations within the faith-based organization, and what faith is, and what that's connected to, and what that all means, and in our life now, it means faith in our own self to heal.
Yeah.
And so we are building churches
Right.
that have a private membership association with it, but ultimately there's an underlining faith-based organization, which in our society they would call that a church.
Yes.
And this is great. Somebody just recently, I won't say names, but somebody just recently brought up there's a church, the Church of Laughter. I love that.
Oh, yes, yes.
How freaking cool is that? We literally, our main focus is laughter.
Is laughter. Yes. And the good thing about it, Tracy, what we do as holistic faith-based practitioners is that the people that seek out our services are investing in themselves, because you know what? Not only do they completely change their life around, but they also receive on the back end as well, because their contributions are tax deductible.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know. I don't know much about that part for them. Obviously, they can look into that, but that's, you know, I feel like my main goal in this whole thing is not the money. That's the whole thing, right? It's not the contribution. It is the value of connecting to the divine and allowing the divine to offer a sense of goodness, joy, and just a feeling of like it's right to whoever it needs to be to. And I think ultimately that we're just opening up a new vein in what already is the space organizations, right?
Yeah.
It's just a new vein.
Well, yeah, as a vessel, you know, healer vessel, you know, money is not part of the natural world. It is not. Humans are the only ones that have this in their community, their society, their organizations, their institutions, you know. And so, but we still have to live and survive as practitioners. We still have to live and survive in this environment. What's important money wise is to our members. You know, they want some type of guarantee because they've been promised of a quick fix. They've been promised that. And so they, you know, they've submit to the insurance companies just to have claims denied. They've done all the things that they've needed to do in order to prepare take control of their situation to be fruitful, and nothing has worked. And so when they encounter alternative medicine, they want to guarantee, they want something. So, we don't deal with insurance companies. I refuse to deal with the red tape of of helping someone to achieve a whole lifestyle of balance, of their own personal healing. It should be very
Yeah, because and I agree, and there was a main reason for that for me, which was, and this is all through experience and having to deal with all of that. They get to choose. They get to choose what is good for your health.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
They have free will. They get to choose. So my blessing is that if you invest in your health, you get to take a bigger part of this at the end of the year. I'm compliant within the standard guidelines of this commercial entity that we live in.
And yes, and the other thing is I think what holistic offers in our case, I don't know about, obviously there's a shadow world in the holistic as well, but in our case, I know this for a fact that that we want you to build a dialogue with your body so that it chooses, so that it helps you figure out and helps us figure out together as a student, teacher, and vice versa, what is going to be the optimum stuff for you to heal with, that your body needs, and also the diagnostics that base the results on a whole body level. It's important. It's important to, especially with chronic illnesses and anything that deals with pH or hormonal or lymphatic or any of those glandular, any of those type of things that are out of balance. Those systems, they run on a full body communication.
Yeah.
So like if something's wrong with your thyroid, it's not just your thyroid.
Right.
It's all the glands.
It's all of them. Yes, yeah. It's just showing up in the thyroid.
Yeah. So like taking the thyroid out, that maybe there's a placebo in that. I don't know. But, and ultimately that's another thing. Like the placebo can be 100%. So if you connect with your healing things, whatever's in your healing bundle, and build that communication with your medicine, with your with whatever is in that. It could be dancing, it could be singing, it could be herbs, it could be oils, it could be movement
for every person. Yeah.
Everything, right? Like that's kind of what I'm saying is the medicine, the bundle. It's like taking all of those, the diagnostics and what the body's saying, and what we uncover in the shadow, and then trying to integrate all of that and trying to develop the system that works best for you now, and build the knowledge on how to tweak that by listening to your own body.
Yes. But first, you got to discover who you are. I was 7 years old when I had my thymus gland removed, and it's this scar here. The incision was collarbone to collarbone because I was so small. I at 7, I was about the size of a 5-year-old.
Wow.
And so
why did they take your thymus? Just curious. It was.
What's that?
Why did they take it?
The myasthenia that I was.
Okay.
Was supposed to fix it, but really it was another 2 years. 2 years after that of recovery you know, in and out of the hospital, you know, that it was a 3-year incubation time in a medical facility
Wow.
of my childhood, you know. So, but having that surgery done, it caused additional problems in order to save my life, which, you know, I feel like I'm trapped in the voice of a 7-year-old simply because of all the scarring, and as close as it was to the vocal cords, that it's scarred, you know. So
The thymus is the protector of the heart. That's the heart gland. Wow. That's intense, man.
yeah, you take this surgery and pack it in a body that's only yay big. There's only so much room, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, time is linear. Pull this card because we cannot repeat this.
Yeah, and they say, because I had my gallbladder, I had a couple things removed too, and so I was really angry afterwards, and I really wanted it back. Right, I did. I wanted it. I was like, no, I don't want, like, what the, I want to take that back. And I met a teacher, a healer, that said to me, all you have to do is believe that it's in there.
Yeah.
And so now I just say, okay, I got a gallbladder, I got my appendix, I got all that stuff. It's good, it's healthy, right?
But you had to sit in that energy for you know, over a course in order to feel connected with it again.
Oh yeah. I still don't even feel like I'm fully there. I feel like I still have, if you have any doubt whatsoever, right? And that is not something that we can just will to happen.
Yeah.
It's something that we have to do the work. And
Yeah.
the work is, you know, hearing the call, feeling it in our body that, okay, right? When we feel something and on a heart level, we're not just thinking it, and it's like there's a pull for us to do something, then we do it. And so it's taken me a lot of holistic practitioners, a lot of different energy work of all different kinds, therapy.
Stages, yeah. And also being in the spirit of receiving as well. Because you got to be able to receive that change to reconnect with it again. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's a card say?
Okay, so I pulled another one, and it's time. It is the Madre of Fire. Madre obviously means mother. And it is, okay. Turn up the heat on your creative passions. A warm heart and a spicy kitchen welcomes others to your table. Stroke the creative fire that burns in your belly. Okay, so it's going to explain the card.
Okay.
A woman stands in a warm kitchen. The table is covered with bottles, books, and a large, fresh harvest of time. A kettle whistles on the stove. Yellow and orange herbs dangle from the rafters. She is dressed in garden clothes, and her worn hands calmly grind herbs in a large mocate. The Madre of Fire inspires others by living an artistic life. She teaches from her actions. She encourages collaboration, inviting everyone to play in her busy apothecary. She is upbeat and accepts life's paradoxes. She knows thyme is both a popular kitchen herb and a superb medicine plant. She is driven by a rich imagination and finds magic in everything. Creativity is second nature to her, and her days are filled with inspired activities. Just like remedies made with time, she is warm and full-hearted. She attracts people into her home. She radiates vitality and love. Embrace your inner glow. It warms the hearts of others. And then it gives you examples on how to use time. So Add flavor to your medicine cabinet. Craft thyme, salt, and syrup.
Yes.
Invite friends to a busy day of making thyme potions like vinegar, honey, and tincture. And show someone you love them by cooking them a meal. Add thyme to your dish.
Nice.
This reminds me of this reminds me of my ex-boyfriend.
Uh-oh.
He had a childlike heart. It was beautiful. And we went to a restaurant in town, and they do like all different like funky flavors of ice cream.
Yeah.
One of the times we went, they had thyme ice cream.
Oh, wow.
And it was really good.
Yeah.
And he could not stop talking about that thyme ice cream. He was just like, and it was like an endless joke, you know, like right on time, that ice cream, or, you know, it's a, you know, this ice cream is timeless. So yeah, so it almost even makes me feel like I remember tasting it. Like it was a really good ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to the seed store today, and I'm gonna make it a point to get some time.
Oh yeah. Time, and you have to be careful because, I mean, you really don't have to be careful because I love that it's everywhere. But if you plant it in the ground, it will spread everywhere.
It'll take over. Well, it'll have to be in a container because I'm in an apartment.
They plant a lot of thyme in graveyards, so they don't have to mow.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That, you know, that holy ground is being nurtured.
It's timeless. Yeah, so maybe with all of this upcoming, you know, creativity and passions, maybe we just need to take a breath.
Yes, absolutely. And it came at the perfect time too, because this is spring. This is a time of renewal and growth, you know. So that was right on time. Yeah, giving us additional confirmation. Yeah, that we're in the right season. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really feeling excited to walk with others right now. I really, really want to just shine the light wherever it needs to be. And so I'm itching to do it more,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. Let's see what time we have on our 11:43. So what good has been happening this week for you? What's been right?
Let's see. I have been doing some healing, some energy healings, and those have been very nourishing for me. So those are good. Like I said, I've been doing some foundational work, some purging in my, not in my spiritual, I mean, yes, in my spiritual world, because they say as above, so below, right? So like in my spiritual, but also in my form life,
Yes.
you know, earthly life. So some purging, which can be very exhausting.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
exhausting.
But we got to unpack. It's necessary.
Yeah. So I've been, you know, to counter that, I have a massager called a Theragun.
Uh-huh.
And so I use that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
I have one of those too.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I got that, the massage gun. So I do that occasionally. And my essential oils, I use doTERRA oils. And I'm not really okay, do this one, not this kind of oil, not that kind of oil. I do watch out for the grade of it. And so, there's a couple places that I feel like they have good oils. I feel like doTERRA is a good one. Young Living is a good one. There's like Mountain Rose or something. They have some good stuff. There's a couple other different ones, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as it's a good grade,
Yeah, because there's shadow in everything.
Yep.
There's
And
shadow.
so I've been using let's see, like a muscle blend, and then like lavender. It's really good, and rose, and I've been liking the flowery type thing, neroli.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's been good. What about you? What's been good in your life?
I found a hand pan just sitting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just sitting right up against a dumpster.
Wow.
I picked that baby up. I guess I'm gonna
Cool.
learn hand pan.
Wow, those things are expensive.
Yeah, I looked it up online. It's like anywhere from 15 to 2,500.
Wow, that's still crazy. That's still crazy. Yeah, I don't have a hand pan. I have one of those other drums that have all that stuff on it.
Yeah.
But I love all drums. I drum a lot.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited about that. It inspired me to also pick up the flute again,
Oh, are you a flutist?
Yes, flute and bass clarinet and alto sax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Love that. Cool.
So yeah.
Oh my God, you got to do a little ditty on one of our shows.
Yeah.
You do a ditty? Dude, we should do that, and I could do a drumming too.
Yeah.
That would be cool. We could schedule that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made a list of instruments that I want to partake in. And
Oh, like learn more?
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Like what? Like the guitar? Piano?
I would love to learn the guitar. I want it, the piano, it's too big to carry around,
Yeah.
So I like a really good embrace. So guitar, yes. Bass.
I love the bass.
Yes. Yes.
You should see. Have you seen these new instruments where they're like air instruments where you move your hands in them and
No.
it creates it's like whoa, like it creates the sound, and you can kind of do this with your hands, and it makes instrumental sounds. It's like really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it called?
I don't I don't know. It was like virtual or air. I probably could look it up. Oh, you know what else I did? I've been making some really good smoothies.
So have I. So have I. Papaya is in season, and also mango. And so I have been making some papaya and mango green smoothies. Celery is also wonderful to add to that.
It's called a theremin.
Theremin. How do you spell that?
Theremin. This thing is rad, man.
I'm gonna look that up, because if I can make music out of air, oh yes, I am going to incorporate that into something.
I don't know I wonder how much it costs, but it's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm just I think my goal, well, I know my goal for this weekend is some self-care, just be in the woods and and really, I can feel some energy moving, flowing in my head. Like I keep getting, maybe it almost feels like it's a headache, but it's weird and sporadic, and so I feel like it's just whenever I get energy like that in my body, whether it's in my head or in my body, I used to panic, like I think that is what has happened in the life death cycle for humanity.
Mm.
Not for everybody, but for me. And a lot of the people that were around me, especially working in the hospital and working in medical.
Yeah.
It was just, if you were sick, it just came with fear automatically,
Yeah.
And so, now when something like that happens, right? Like before, I would be like, "Oh my God, what? I got a brain aneurysm or something," right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, "Okay, let me see what's going on. How is it acting? Is it trying to tell me something?" I try to build a dialogue with it to see what's going on. And what keeps coming to my mind when I interact with it is that it's some type of cleansing. It's weeding out whatever needs to be weeded out, and it's like creating some type of balance, but it is kind of headache like.
Yeah.
So, just kind of maybe I'll look up some herbs to help with a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Adaptogen, some mushroom stuff. Not the crazy mushroom though. I don't do that no more. I never really did. I never really did like the long highs, the ones were trapped in. Like the short spurts that you had to chase after all night long.
Right. You have to keep a job, right?
What the fuck? The really expensive ones, those, yeah.
The designer ones. That's what I call it.
Oh, yuck. Oh, can't hate my shadow. What is the saying? Like, don't spend your time in the past, but don't shut the door on it either,
Right. Yeah, that's important. You got to embrace it, because at the end of the day, everything is working out for you.
Yeah, I love that. That's where it comes back to, like, that whole saying. I think you asked me the 3 questions in our first episode, and one of the questions were, if you were able to say to your, younger self,
Yeah.
something, and I would say, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah, everything is going to be okay. You just got to be in receiving mode to be able to get the message. Like those naps that I needed, if I didn't sit my tail down and take a nap, I would have hit against a tower. Things would have fell apart. I probably would have inflicted pain on myself in some kind of way, stubbing my toe or tripping or falling or whatever, just to sit down. I mean, spirit will make you do what it wants you to do. You can either,
do it voluntarily or
fight against
it's gonna happen.
Exactly, and a whole war will break out within yourself. So, yeah.
What happened to your leg? Oh, I didn't listen.
Right. I didn't listen.
Yep, I feel you. I feel you. So when I hear that talk, do that too. Yeah. So do you have any plans for the weekend?
There is a farmer's market this weekend in the city. I'm going to there.
You want to hang out with that chick again?
Yes, I am. Bright Star. I can't remember the correct pronunciation pronunciation of her name, but
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Oh, her name is Bright Star.
Well, it has a common name, but it's Hawaiian and it means,
Yes, right.
yeah,
What you're saying. Okay, Hawaiian. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. So now, are you going to get a henna tattoo?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe like a little ring one.
Maybe. I don't know. I just been kind of undecided about it because I kind of want one that's going to cover the scar just to remember what I was like before the scar, you know?
Okay. All right.
And, uh, you know, that little one that I drew, I mean, it's small, it's little, but I'm thinking maybe it has a different meaning for it. And before I go posting it all over my body, I want to sit in that for a minute.
Now,
So
how long does a henna tattoo last?
I have no idea. I don't think it lasts that long, maybe a week, 2 weeks, 14 days, something like that. You know, because I do got to wash and stuff like that. So, but if I do get one, it would probably be up here. And I'm going to listen to some great music, just be in the vibe, be in the zone, and see who I connect
Oh
with.
yeah, because they have music at the farmers market.
Yeah.
Okay. We
Yeah.
just right in my town. I live in Glens Falls, New York, and we just built me. They just built a building to house the farmers market all year round, and so
Oh, that's
so it is. It's nice. It's nice out, and they're starting this weekend. They're opening this weekend. It's the opening day, so that'll be nice. And we have a lot of. So I live in between Saratoga Springs and Lake George,
okay.
and in the both of those places are big tourists. So Saratoga Springs is the horse track, Lake George is the Adirondacks, and the Lake George. And so there is in the summer, it's just happening everywhere. Like I can't even keep track of how much stuff is going on with like concert series in the park and all these things. And so I really have to, because it can be a lot of energy for me. And so I have gotten to be very selective of, like I can do this many in a month because it's just, I almost get addicted to like gatherings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to do. It's really easy to do. But listen to Alexa,
Yeah.
you are getting
Your
sleep.
eyes are getting tired. Okay. So yeah, we come to the top of the hour, and so I'm Tracy Constantine with the Mother House, and if you feel like you want a different way to heal, and you're just being guided to step into your own power, your own truth, then hit me up.
And I am tag holistic artist at Kiss My Artsy. And, just listen to your heart. It'll never lie to you. Never lie. So if you want to know more about me and my services, the description, my link will be in the description. Also, I have a menopause quiz. So if you're unsure where you are on the menopausal spectrum, including perimenopause, take the quiz and know where you stand. Knowing is half the battle. So,
Love your body.
peace.
Peace.